I'd like to invite you so that you can take seats in front. Thank you very much.
That is exactly what Avada is doing.
As pioneers in India's renewable energy sector, we have successfully built some of the country's largest solar and wind projects with the aim to reach 11 gigawatt capacity by 2025. Our horizon is ever expanding, and our commitment to advancing clean and sustainable energy remains strong. We are on track to becoming leaders in pumped hydro energy storage systems, wind energy production, and electrolyzer manufacturing. Our aim is to achieve 0.5 million tons of green ammonia, a green hydrogen variant production by 2025. Next step in our integrated vision is to establish a self-sufficient solar manufacturing unit poised to manufacture 5 gigawatts of ingots, wafers, cells and modules by 2025. We are the pioneers of the sand to molecule vision, converting sand into remarkable green hydrogen molecules and their derivatives like green hydrogen and ammonia, green methanol and sustainable aviation fuel. Our commitment to sustainability isn't just about reducing carbon emissions, but energizing communities, fostering growth, and building a future filled with clean and sustainable possibilities. This is just the beginning. Join us as we write the next chapter of energy, a chapter filled with innovation, responsibility, and endless potential.
Gujarat stands as a pioneer of innovation and progress on the road to a sustainable, energy-independent future. On India's 75th Independence Day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi unfurled the visionary National Hydrogen Mission, catapulting India to the forefront of green hydrogen production and export. In January 2022, the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy,
ladies and gentlemen, and our young bright minds of India, may I invite you to please take seats. I request all the students to kindly be seated, and we've got a lot of space in the front as well. So I'd invite all of you to please be seated. We're going to start very shortly. We're aiming to start at sharp 12:30. So may I invite all of you, our students, ladies and gentlemen, to please take seats. And I thank you so much for your kind cooperation. Let's all take seats, get this plenary hall in order, and then we will begin with this very important session, ladies and gentlemen, Green Hydrogen for Youth, as part of the second edition of the International Conference on Green Hydrogen. May I invite you all to please take seats, ladies and gentlemen. Now, there are some seats to my right also which are vacant. I invite you to please be seated. Thank you very much for your kind cooperation. And here's a polite reminder to all of you to please keep your mobile phones on silent mode. We've got to also keep the noise low, so I'm going to request you during the session I request all of you, I seek your cooperation that we will all be focused on the proceedings of the session, what is being said, the important messages to be delivered by not only our dignitaries who are going to grace us, but also the youth environmental champions who are going to be joining us. And there is a very interesting, impactful panel discussion coming from the youth champions who are here now with us, and they'll be joining us very, very briefly. So I invite you all now to please take seats, ladies and gentlemen, and our students gracing this Green Hydrogen for Youth session. Thank you for joining us. Take seats, please. May I invite you all to please be seated? Thank you so much.
That benefits the nation and the world. Invigorate our partners, our stakeholders, to give our future generations a chance to embrace a renewed future. SECI.
Every day, the sun showers our planet with more energy than we can consume in a year. Wind and water.
The research and technology.
It's about industry and growth, integration and diversification. It's about opportunity and productivity, connectivity and community. For the here and for the future, this is REC. It carries with it the dreams, the aspirations, and the hopes of a billion, with the promise of endless energy and infinite possibilities.
Every day, the sun showers our planet with more energy than we can consume in a year. Time's over. Avada into a future filled with the...
There is a balance in nature. There will be a balance everywhere. There will be exactly what Avada is doing.
As pioneers in India's renewable energy sector, we have successfully solar and wind projects with the aim to reach 11 gigawatt capacity by 2025.
This world is one of a kind. A world where life thrives, vibrant and enchanting. Where there is so much to explore and discover.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will begin with this very significant session, Green Hydrogen for Youth, very shortly. And so I invite you to please take seats. And here's a polite reminder to all of you to please keep your mobile phones on silent. I thank you very much for your kind cooperation. We will begin very shortly, ladies and gentlemen. May I invite you to please be seated, and the young bright minds of India gracing this Green Hydrogen for Youth session, I welcome you all, and I invite you to please take seats now. There are a lot of vacant seats that side. May I invite you to please be seated. Thank you very much. our young bright minds, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm very pleased to announce that we have now in our midst Saina Nehwal, ladies and gentlemen, internationally renowned for her achievements in badminton. Saina has made significant strides also in environmental sustainability. She's an Olympic medalist, an Indian badminton player, and former world #1 in women's singles. Let's welcome her once again with a round of applause. Welcome. We are going to be very shortly joined by the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India, Professor Ajay K. Sood. He's going to be joining us momentarily, ladies and gentlemen. May I invite you to please be seated. We are also graced by the presence of the Secretary of Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Government of India, Shri Bhupinder Singh Bhalla. Let's welcome him as well with a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, and our students seated here on this very significant occasion, the world is increasingly adopting green hydrogen as it effectively links hard to decarbonize sectors with renewable electricity. And this transition presents a unique opportunity for young people to lead the change and to lead the charge. Green hydrogen represents the fuel of the future, and it is the youth, our future, who are going to drive this transformative change. So thank you very much to each one of you, our young bright minds, for joining us today. Very shortly, I will take the privilege of inviting our esteemed dignitaries. I will request them to grace the dais, and thereafter we will begin with the very, very significant addresses, post which we also have a panel discussion on empowering the next generation, exploring green hydrogen as a catalyst for sustainable development and youth innovation. We have in our midst youth environmental champions who are going to be gracing us for this panel discussion. So a very compelling dialogue will follow, and I invite all of you to please be seated at this juncture. I also have one request to all of you to please keep your mobile phones on silent mode. We do not need any interruptions in the flow of this very impactful, very important green hydrogen for youth session. So once again, I invite you, ladies and gentlemen, to please take seats. Thank you very much for those of you who are joining us now. And let's all be seated. May I invite the students to also take some front seats that side? Actually, there are seats in the middle that are still vacant. Once again, I extend a very warm welcome to you all. And ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you of the quote, "You are never too young to make a difference." And today we have in our midst the young bright minds of India. They are enthused, they are innovative, they are creative, and they are all here gathered today for the session Green Hydrogen for the Youth at this second edition of the International Conference on Green Hydrogen. I extend a very, very warm welcome to all of you, our young bright minds. And once again, I urge you to please quickly take seats. Thank you very much for your kind cooperation. We're going to start very shortly, but we have to get the house in order first. So may I request all of you to please take seats, and we will begin with this session. And once again, my polite reminder to you to keep your mobile phones on silent. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen and students, we're going to be joined by Professor Ajay K. Sood, the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India. He's now at the venue and he's going to be joining us very shortly. And so once again, students at the back, may I invite you forward. There are a lot of vacant seats that I can see, the middle of this row that I'm pointing to. May I invite you to please be seated. Thank you very much. Once again, a very warm welcome to all of you to this second edition of the International Conference on Green Hydrogen, ladies and gentlemen. And as part of the International Conference on Green Hydrogen, we have this very important session, which is Green Hydrogen for Youth. Today, we're actually going to focus on a topic that promises to shape our future. Green hydrogen for youth. And there is a special emphasis, ladies and gentlemen, on the vital role of our youth in this particular session. And the reason is engaging the younger generation is very key to spearheading awareness and driving progress in green hydrogen technology. Now, it is truly the energy, the creativity and enthusiasm of the youth, which is very crucial as we work towards a sustainable, greener, brighter tomorrow. And the reason we are all gathered here is to harness this momentum and inspire the next wave of innovators and leaders in green hydrogen, which is all of you, our young, bright minds of India. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be shortly joined by Padma Shri Professor Ajay K. Sood, who is the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India. He's also the chairperson of the PM's Science, Technology and Innovation Advisory Council. And once he graces this occasion, we will then get started with the session. But I'm absolutely grateful to all the students who have taken the time and have joined us in such large numbers at this session. You know, it was the former Secretary General of the United Nations, Ban Ki-moon, who said, "The youth of today are the leaders of tomorrow. They have a responsibility to be environmentally conscious and work towards a sustainable future." Ladies and gentlemen, if I have to apprise you of the program today, I'm going to also enlighten you about this very compelling panel discussion we have lined up as part of this Green Hydrogen for Youth session. And that is going to feature our young environmental champions who are gracing this occasion with their presence. We now have the presence of Professor Ajay K. Sood, Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome him in our midst with a huge round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, now as we begin with this session, it is true that the youth of today are the stewards of the earth tomorrow. And encouraging safe, innovative uses of natural energy that benefit our planet is crucial. And what better way to inspire and reward this innovation than by empowering our youth to take the lead? In this session on Green Hydrogen for Youth, we're going to explore how green hydrogen, a key player in sustainable energy, holds transformative potential for the next generation. Now, I'm going to request our esteemed dignitaries to kindly grace the dais. May I invite Padma Shri Professor Ajay K. Sood, Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India and Chairperson of the PM Science, Technology and Innovation Advisory Council, to the dais. Warm welcome to you, sir. May I now request Shri Bhupinder S. Bhalla, Secretary, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Government of India, to kindly grace the dais. A very warm welcome to you, sir. May I invite Ms. Saina Nehwal, Indian badminton player, Olympic medalist and youth brand ambassador, to kindly join us on this dais. A very warm welcome. May I now request Shri Ajay Yadav, Joint Secretary, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Government of India, to kindly grace the dais. Namaskar and warm welcome to you, sir. I'd like to request Shri Abhay Bakre, Mission Director, National Green Hydrogen Mission, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, to kindly grace the dais. Shri Abhay Bakre. He's going to be joining us shortly, ladies and gentlemen, and I'd also like to request Mr. Nishant Bala Shanmugam, Director, GH2 India. Mr. Nishant Bala Shanmugam, Director, GH2 India, very warm welcome to you. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we begin with this session, I hope and we believe that these discussions are going to bridge the gap between innovation and action, empowering the young minds in our midst to lead the charge in the green energy revolution. So, once again, a very warm welcome to all of you participating in this Green Hydrogen for Youth session. And in order to render the welcome address, I am indeed honored to invite Shri Ajay Yadav, Joint Secretary at the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Government of India. With a distinguished career spanning 18 years, Mr. Yadav has held key positions in various ministries, including External Affairs, Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, and Civil Aviation. And at present, he's responsible for two flagship schemes of the Government of India, the National Green Hydrogen Mission and the Pradhan Mantri Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana. Ladies and gentlemen, Shri Ajay Yadav, sir.
Thank you very much. Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India, Professor Ajay Kumar Sood ji. Secretary, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Shri Bhupinder Singh Bhalla ji. Olympic medalist, youth ambassador and world famous badminton player, Ms. Saina Nehwal ji. Director, Green Hydrogen, India, Mr. Nishant. Our 6 youth environmental champions, distinguished guests, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to welcome you all to the second International Conference on Green Hydrogen. I'm delighted to see the participation of students in this year's International Conference from across different schools, colleges, technical institutions, IITs, from DTUs, among others. We have around 3,000 students across this hall. So last year, when we had this first edition of International Conference on Green Hydrogen, and thereafter we had a lot of discussions on how to involve youth. And we had discussions with Professor Sood, with Secretary MNRE, and there this idea generated to have a dedicated session for youth in this year's International Conference. So, on green hydrogen. So, as you know, and as is commonly taught in school texts, hydrogen is the first element in the periodic table. It's the lightest element on the earth, and it is also the most abundant atom in the universe. It is estimated that almost 90% of all atoms in universe are hydrogen atoms. As you know, energy powers economies, societies, nations. The more developed the society or a country is considered, it consumes more energy to run its factories, to run the industrial processes, vehicles, homes, etc. And most of this energy is the fossil fuel energy that we burn, and is usually in form of coal, petroleum, natural gas, which are hydrocarbons. And as the name suggests, they are hydro and carbon, so they are hydrocarbons. And when they burn with oxygen, they produce the energy, the power that powers our systems, our societies. But in addition, the carbon adds to oxygen, and this results in emission of the carbon dioxide. So as we common parlance, we call them carbon emissions. And higher carbon emissions lead to temperature rise and to global warming, and which leads to climate change, which have harmful impacts on the societies. So we are thinking of ways, how can we have alternate ways to generate power, to generate electricity. So it is in this quest that the world is moving towards green hydrogen and renewable energy. So we can produce electricity using renewable energy sources like solar, wind, hydro projects. And this electricity can then be used to power our homes and industry. However, as you know, renewable energy is not available during the whole day. It's during the all 24 hours. It's only available when the sun shines or when the wind blows. In many industrial processes, we still cannot use electricity. And it's where green hydrogen comes into picture. So how do you produce this form of hydrogen, the green hydrogen? The science is quite simple, but the technology is complex. So we pass water through a machine which is called an electrolyzer, and we use renewable energy to run this electrolyzer, and it breaks water into hydrogen and oxygen. And this hydrogen that's produced is called the green hydrogen. And there are no carbon dioxide emissions with this hydrogen. That's why green hydrogen is now being built as fuel of the future. I'm sure Nishant in a later session will tell you more about the basics of green hydrogen. So, keeping the potential of green hydrogen in mind, we launched the National Green Hydrogen Mission in January 2023. And the mission has an allocation of around 20,000 crore rupees. The National Green Hydrogen Mission will not only bring about a change in our energy landscape, but is also targeted at creation of around 6 lakh jobs in next 5 years. So green hydrogen sector demands a new set of skills, from engineering next generation electrolyzers and providing storage and transportation facilities. Here, so the youth is the powerhouse of innovation and change. The burgeoning green hydrogen sector is a treasure trove of opportunities which requires innovation and change. Whether you are a student of engineering, technology, research, business, or policy, there is a place for you in this green revolution. You are the energy and the vision that will drive this initiative forward as we leapfrog to the future. Whether you choose to be an entrepreneur, a scientist, or an advocate of clean energy, you have the power to shape the future of green hydrogen in India and beyond. We look forward to inspirational messages from our dignitaries on the dais also. So thank you very much and best wishes.
Thank you very much, sir, for establishing the context for this Green Hydrogen for Youth session and also rendering the welcome address. Indeed, the youth are the driving force behind innovation and change, and green hydrogen needs their energy and vision to set this change in motion. Now I'm going to request, ladies and gentlemen, Padma Shri Professor Ajay K. Sood, Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India and the Chairperson of the PM's Science, Technology and Innovation Advisory Council. Professor Sood's illustrious career spans decades of groundbreaking research. He has several patents to his name. He has been at the forefront of scientific advisory councils, helping shape the future of India's science and technology landscape. And in his role as the principal scientific advisor, Professor Sood continues to guide our nation with forward-thinking insights, ensuring the strategic application of science and innovation across sectors that are crucial to India's growth and development. I'm going to take the privilege now of requesting him to please render the special remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Ajay K. Sood.
The iconic Miss Sena Nehwal ji, truly an inspiration for the youth of our country and for the global youth. We have Shri Bhupender Bhalla ji, Secretary MNRE, and really the force forward for this green hydrogen mission. Mr. Ajay Yadav, again a co-traveler along with Bhalaji in the journey in this green hydrogen. Mr. Nishant Balashanmugam, and all the invitees, the young people, participants, a very good afternoon. Welcome to this special session which was thought over when this green hydrogen ICGH 2024 was being organized. It was felt that since youth really need to see what is the role of sustainability in our lives, how the sustainability can be done in real life by looking at various aspects, clean energy and so on, it was decided that we should hold this special event for all of you and discuss with you what sustainability means, in which green hydrogen has an important role to play. You have been hearing these two buzzwords, green and hydrogen. So what does it mean? Was told to you a few minutes back by Ajay Yadav ji. So we all know that hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe, but now it has a special role to play in our lives in this 21st century. So what has happened that this, in the last few years, the ecological alarm is really ringing very loud and very clear that we need to do something to save our planet Earth. We need to look at the global warming more seriously and not postpone it as a problem of the future. The problem is right on our desks. The extreme climate weather conditions and so many things which you are seeing around us is a indicator, is a warning that we need to attempt to look at this global warming more seriously than ever before. Since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, the global average concentration of CO2 has increased almost by 50%, and by 2023, it was recorded at 419 ppm, a really alarming figure because this contributes to global warming, and all of us are trying to contain, like in COP declaration, this temperature rise to be contained below 1.5 degrees in the coming days. Now, the Industrial Revolution, which spanned from 1700 to 1900, significantly altered the trajectory of history, with its effect still being felt by present and future generations. The technological advancements of that era indeed brought economic prosperity to developed nations. And we see the prosperity all around us because of the technological growth which has happened. However, the reliance on energy sources like fossil fuels have left enduring impacts that are evident in our daily lives. The rise in CO2 levels has affected the global average temperature, as I mentioned, intensifying weather events and leading to more extreme occurrences, which we see, such as hurricanes, droughts, heavy rainfall, cloud bursts, and so on. India is significantly affected by extreme weather events driven by climate change, resulting in both casualties and economic damage. There is an urgent need to adopt sustainable development methods, or in other words, green energy solutions that achieve near zero carbon emission to the atmosphere. Now, India has decided to achieve a 45% reduction in emission intensity by 2030 and has taken steps towards achieving net zero carbon by 2070, as declared by our Honorable Prime Minister. To reach these goals, various measures need to be adopted, including technologies for carbon capture, utilization, and storage, as well as alternative energy sources like green hydrogen. Now, why hydrogen? You know that hydrogen is the simplest and most abundant element in the universe. Hydrogen is light, storable, energy dense, and can be produced from various sources, including fossil fuels, nuclear energy, biomass, and renewable sources. When generated using renewables, it offers a clean alternative to burning fossil fuels. Labeling hydrogen by color, some of you might be wondering, what is it? It is a popular way of differentiating its production process. While burning hydrogen emits only water, its production can be carbon intensive, and we need to be mindful of that. All the colors you would have seen which are attributed to hydrogen, you would have seen a name like brown hydrogen, which comes from using coal, gray hydrogen produced from natural gas, blue hydrogen, gray or brown hydrogen produced with carbon capture and storage to reduce carbon dioxide emissions, and then of course green hydrogen, for which the conference is being held, produced from water through electrolysis, powered by renewable energy, and have near zero emissions, as well as using biomass. And it has been, our country has declared green hydrogen as the hydrogen which will be produced with carbon dioxide emission less than 2 kilograms per kilogram of hydrogen. As technology advanced, scientists introduced various colors such as pink and magenta also to classify hydrogen, and all this really reflect the carbon footprint which the production process will leave. To foster new ideas and innovations in this emerging industry, it is very essential for youth and startups to engage in driving India's transition to clean energy. The creativity, willingness, and energy of youth such as you to embrace new ideas make them key drivers of change, and that is why we feel it is so very important to involve youth amongst us in the goal to achieve sustainability. The emerging hydrogen economy also offers vast opportunities for job creation, skill development, and reskilling of the existing workforce. India's green sector is projected to employ over 42 million people by 2050. To meet this demand, the sector will require skilled engineers with qualifications in engineering, science, automation, mechanics, chemistry, electrical technology, business, and manufacturing, and many others, all innovations included. Currently, hydrogen skilling in India is largely unorganized, relying mainly on the job training, and this is changing as we speak. There is a skill program under the Green Hydrogen Mission which is really going to do the skilling for this very much sector. So eco-aware youth on a path of green growth is really the right message for the present. And the rise of clean tech startups in renewable energy, waste management, recycling, water purification, and energy efficiency highlights the environmentally conscious mindset of youth, aiming to provide technological solutions that are both commercially viable and sustainable. Innovative resource management strategies can enhance energy potential and boost income from the circular economy by reducing waste and optimizing resource efficiency through 5R: reuse, repair, refurbishment, remanufacturing, and recovery. Transitioning to a circular economy will significantly reduce greenhouse gas emission by 44% by 2050, aligning with India's national determined contribution targets as announced by our country. I do hope that all of you will be inspired to think of sustainability in your way of life. And the future of civilization is truly in your hands. I am so delighted to be a part of this session, and we have the youth icon, Saina Nehwal-ji, amongst us, which really gives the message that youth really stand for sustainability and growth. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, sir, for highlighting the pivotal role of green hydrogen. And we thank you very much for your compelling remarks at this Green Hydrogen for Youth session. These remarks have truly inspired all of us, especially the youth, and we value these insights and the call to action for adopting sustainable practices. Thank you very much, sir. With that, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my privilege to introduce very briefly Ms. Saina Nehwal, although she does not need an introduction, a renowned Indian badminton player and former world #1 in women's singles, an Olympic medalist, known for her remarkable achievements. She has won multiple international titles, including a Commonwealth Games gold medal and several BWF tournaments. Her dedication and skill have made her a trailblazer in Indian sports. Saina is celebrated for her exceptional career as a badminton player, where she has earned accolades and inspired countless young athletes with her dedication and skill. However, her influence extends beyond the sports arena. She's also a committed advocate for environmental sustainability, and her presence at this International Conference on Green Hydrogen is particularly significant. Her participation today truly is a powerful reminder of how influential figures can drive positive change and inspire the next generation of leaders to tackle pressing environmental challenges. Please join me in welcoming Saina Nehwal, whose dedication to both her sport and environmental advocacy exemplifies the spirit of innovation and sustainability that we celebrate at this conference.
Good afternoon, everyone, and respected dignitaries on the dais. First of all, thank you so much. As a sports person, jitna bhi mujhse ho sakega, I will try and explain about it. लेकिन मुझे ऐसा लगता है ना, हमें आजकल पैसा कमाना तो बहुत है, लेकिन जीना कम है. You know, I think पैसे के पीछे इतना भागते हैं कि हमें अपना फिटनेस फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ध्यान नहीं रहता है. हमें ये ध्यान नहीं रहता है कि हमें अपना एनवायरनमेंट भी अच्छा रखना चाहिए, अपनी चीज़ें ठीक से रखनी चाहिए. काफ़ी हद तक मैं मतलब इतना वर्ल्ड ट्रैवल करती हूँ, टूर्नामेंट जाती हूँ, एंड कभी कभी मुझे लगता है हम सब, हमारी पॉपुलेशन ऑब्वियसली ज़्यादा है इंडिया में, तो हम सब अगर एक यूनिटी में आ जाए और सब चीज़ें जैसे है ना एक दूसरे को समझाएं कि कैसे हमारा एनवायरनमेंट हमें ठीक रखना चाहिए और पेड़ पौधे लगाने चाहिए. हमें आई नो कि कार इतने ज़्यादा हो गए हमारे कंट्री में, इसलिए पोल्यूशन ज़्यादा है. दिल्ली में जो मैं सुन रही हूँ, न्यूज़ में भी सुनती हूँ मैंने रिसेंटली भी सुना कि पोल्यूशन की वजह से 10-12 साल उम्र भी कम होने वाली है फ्यूचर में. आई डोंट नो इफ़ आई एम राइट अबाउट इट, बट मैंने न्यूज़ में देखा है. इट्स वेरी वेरी डेंजरस टू थिंक ऑल्सो, क्योंकि लोग अपनी लाइफ में इतनी बिजी हैं और होने भी चाहिए, बिकॉज इट्स इम्पॉर्टेंट दैट हमें अपना एजुकेशन कंप्लीट करना है, पढ़ाई करना है, मुझे वर्ल्ड #1 बनना है. इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, मुझे अपना खुद का ध्यान रखना है. बट अगर हम ही नहीं हेल्दी रहेंगे तो हम कैसे कर पाएंगे ये सब चीज़ें. You know, it's not about today, but think about 50 years from now, 100 years from now. ऑलरेडी क्लाइमेट चेंज के इतने चीज़ें हम देख रहे हैं, सुनने में आ रहे हैं. इनफैक्ट मुझे भी बुरा लगता है क्योंकि मैं तो एक ही हूँ ना, मैं सोचूंगी इस बारे में तो कुछ होने नहीं वाला है. पूरा कंट्री अगर सोचेगा तो कुछ चेंजेस आएंगे. इनफैक्ट इन 2014 में हम नए घर पे शिफ्ट हुए एंड आई वाज obviously 24 years and I was talking to my father and he was like, साइना हमें घर के रूफटॉप पे सोलर पैनल लगाना है. मैं बोले पापा क्या बात कर रहे हो, व्हाट इज़ दैट, यू नो. मुझे उस टाइम पे कुछ समझ नहीं आई थी उसकी वैल्यू क्या है, लेकिन आज मुझे उसका समझ में आता है कि कितना इम्पॉर्टेंट है कि हम ऐसी चीज़ें यूज़ करें जो हम एनवायरनमेंट फ्रेंडली हैं. और आज जब ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन के बारे में मैंने एक्चुअली पढ़ा और इतना मैंने सुना सर से और मैंने जाना कि काश ऐसा फ्यूल रहे जहाँ हमारा जो एयर है और क्लीन हो जाए, और उससे बेटर क्या होगा. क्योंकि काफ़ी प्लेयर्स जो हम जैसे हैं, हम जब ग्राउंड में रनिंग करते हैं आजकल तो सांस लेना भी दिक्कत हो रही है. इनफैक्ट मैनी प्लेयर्स एंड आई डोंट नो हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू आर गेटिंग द साइनस इश्यूज, राइनाइटिस इश्यूज बिकॉज ऑफ द एयर. मुझे तो काफ़ी हद तक एलर्जीज शुरू हुई है बिकॉज ऑफ दैट. एंड इट्स नॉट राइट, क्योंकि मैंने कभी मेरे से आई थिंक 1-2 जनरेशन बैक आप जाके देखेंगे इतना साइनस राइनाइटिस मेरे पेरेंट्स को भी मैंने कभी नहीं सुना है. बट आजकल की जनरेशन के बच्चों का मैंने एवरी सेकेंड थर्ड बच्चा बोलता है कुछ इशू मे बी सांस का रहेगा या कुछ तो रहेगा ऐसा, दैट बिकॉज ऑफ दी जो एयर हम ब्रीथ करते हैं उसकी वजह से. तो आई एज ए प्लेयर आई कैन, क्योंकि मुझे चाहिए कि चीज़ें अभी हो जाए, क्योंकि एज ए प्लेयर यू वांट टू डू थिंग्स राइट नाउ. हमें इतना डेडिकेशन से काम करते, डिसिप्लिन से काम करते कि हम तो चाहते हैं कि कल ही सब ठीक हो जाए. बट ओवर द ईयर जो चेंजेस आ चुके हैं उसको कैसे हम चेंज करें. एज ए यंग एथलीट जब मैंने खेलना स्टार्ट किया था मुझे नहीं पता था बैडमिंटन कोई पॉपुलर स्पोर्ट है या आई कैन मेक इट अ बिग स्पोर्ट इन इंडिया जहाँ पे बॉलीवुड या क्रिकेट इतना बड़ा है. आई नेवर थॉट अबाउट इट, लेकिन आई ट्राइड टू चेंज इट. And today I'm so happy and proud to see that it's the second most popular sport in India, and so many of young kids want to play badminton. It's just because एक ने सोचा कि possible है. तो हम सब अगर यूथ यहाँ पे साथ में मिलके सोचेंगे कि it is possible, कि हम थोड़ी थोड़ी चीज़ें रूम गंदा होता है तो साफ़ करते हैं राइट. तो कभी कभी रोड पे कुछ भी ऐसा पड़ा हो उठा के डस्टबिन में फेंक दीजिए. कुछ ऐसा ऑब्वियसली जैसे अभी फ्यूल के बारे में, ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन के बारे में सुन रहे हैं, इलेक्ट्रिक कार्स के लिए ऑप्ट कीजिए, बहुत अच्छा रहेगा. हमारी जनरेशन के लिए भी, ऑब्वियसली द फ्यूचर जनरेशन विल डेफिनेटली विल बेनिफिट फ्रॉम दिस. नहीं तो जैसे चल रहा है मुझे तो यही डर लगता है सोच के भी कि हम देख पाएंगे कि नहीं. इतना फॉग आ जाता है कभी कभी सामने. दिल्ली में स्पेशली मैंने देखा है होता है, एंड दैट टू मुंबई ऑल्सो इज़ वेरी क्राउडेड. और होना भी चाहिए क्योंकि सब लोग इतनी सारी गाड़ियाँ खरीदते हैं और ख़रीदनी भी चाहिए, तरक्की करनी चाहिए. लेकिन विद दैट आई फील थोड़ा सा चेंज हैबिट में अगर होना शुरू हो जाए कि हम अपने जितनी भी चीज़ें हैं उनको सही से रखें. और जो हमारे साथ में हमारे फ्रेंड्स हैं या आप स्कूल जाते हैं तो आप अपने आप आपके फ्रेंड्स से बात करते होंगे, कॉलेजेस में बात करते होंगे, तो बात करने से बहुत कुछ चेंजेस आ सकते हैं. एंड आई एज ए प्लेयर आई डेफिनेटली फील कि मैं अगर यहाँ पे खड़े होकर आपको थोड़ा बहुत ये मोटिवेट कर सकूँ कि अपने हेल्थ का ध्यान दीजिए. क्योंकि टुडे जब मैं देखती हूँ मेरे पेरेंट्स ऑब्वियसली 60-65 इयर्स के हैं, तो थोड़ा बहुत जैसे दर्द बोल देते हैं, पेट में दर्द है खाने की वजह से, तो हेल्दी खाना खाइए, खाना भी अच्छा खाइए, अपने आप को भी हेल्दी रखिए. थोड़ी देर रनिंग ज़रूर कीजिए, इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. फ्रेश एयर में जाइए, हो सके तो कार का यूज़ कम कीजिए. अगर 1-2 किलोमीटर चलना हो तो चल के जाइए, थोड़ा रनिंग करके जाइए. बाहर की कंट्री में देखती हूँ इतने सारे लोग थोड़ा रनिंग कर लेते हैं, फिटनेस पे ध्यान रखते हैं. तो इट्स ऑल थोड़ा चेंजेस से कितना चेंज हो जाएगा यू नेवर नो. ऑब्वियसली मुझे भी ये नई चीज़ है, मैं भी इसको और ट्राई करना चाहूँगी. मैं भी और वॉकिंग पे इंटरेस्ट करना चाहूँगी रादर दैन यूजिंग कार्स. क्योंकि अगर चीज़ें पास में है तो आई विल डेफिनेटली गो वॉकिंग. और अपने आप को कैसे हेल्दी रख सकती हूँ मैं, अपने आप को कैसे फिट रख सकती हूँ, बिकॉज फाइनली हेल्थ इज़ एवरीथिंग. आफ्टर ऑल दीज ईयर्स ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस आई हैव थॉट अबाउट इट कि मेहनत तो करी, मैंने मेहनत करी अचीव करने के लिए, बेस्ट बनने के लिए. लेकिन अगर मैं उस मेहनत को कंटिन्यू नहीं रखूँगी, अगर अपने आप को फिट नहीं रखूँगी, जो भी मैंने सपने देखे वो सब वेस्ट है. इट्स गोइंग टू गो वेस्ट. बिकॉज अनलेस यू मेक योर एनवायरनमेंट गुड एंड हेल्दी. मैं हमेशा पूछते रहती हूँ मम्मी से कि हमारे जो विला है उसके पास इतने सारे प्लांट्स क्यों लगा रहे हैं, इतने सारे ये क्यों कर रहे हैं. तो मुझे अच्छा लगता है जब मुझे रिप्लाई करते हैं ना, फ्यूचर के लिए इट्स गोइंग टू बी वेरी गुड. ग्रीनरी इज़ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। तो ये सब सुन के मुझे अच्छा लगता है कि एक दो जो लोग हैं वो चेंजेस करने को रेडी हैं, तो हम सब क्यों नहीं कर सकते ये? अगर हम सब ने कर दिया तो हमारा मतलब बिल्कुल ही चेंज हो जाएगा, एंड दैट विल बी रियली नाइस टू सी, यू नो। और मैं आई एम वेटिंग टू सी दैट कि कब हमारे जो कंट्री में है और चेंजेस ऐसे आएंगे कि हम बिल्कुल ही परफेक्ट हर एक चीज़ में हो जाएंगे। मतलब आई फील हमारे कंट्री में स्टडीज़ बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है और सब लोग पढ़ाई बहुत करते हैं, लेकिन हम थोड़े से लेज़ी हैं कई चीज़ों में। अगर और मेहनत करें, फिट रहे और जो भी चीज़ है इमीडिएटली करें तो ज़रूर रिजल्ट्स फास्ट आएंगे। तो एज ए प्लेयर आई कैन ओनली से गो फॉर द बेस्ट थिंग्स फॉर योर बॉडी, फॉर योर एनवायरनमेंट, एंड आई थिंक इट विल मेक सो मच ऑफ चेंज आपके लिए, आपके फ्यूचर के लिए। अपने फ्रेंड से बात कीजिए, अपने कॉलोनी में बात करते रहिए, आप खुद फिटनेस करके दिखाइए, खुद अपने आप को साफ करके देखिए, सराउंडिंग्स को साफ करके देखिए, आपको लोग फॉलो करेंगे। कुछ स्टार्ट करने का आप एक एग्जाम्पल बनिए, एंड डेफिनेटली एवरीवन विल फॉलो। थोड़ा आप पे हंसेंगे क्या, अगले दिन वो खुद ही समझ जाएंगे कि क्यों हंस रहे थे आपके ऊपर, क्योंकि जब खुद पे आती है देन यू अंडरस्टैंड एक्चुअली व्हाट्स रॉन्ग। तो यू जस्ट डू राइट थिंग्स एंड एवरीथिंग विल फॉलो, एंड आई एम श्योर, यू नो, बीइंग एन एथलीट मुझे पता है कि अगर आप अच्छा खाना खाएंगे, अपने आप को हेल्दी रखेंगे, सब कुछ बेस्ट रहेगा। बस मेक श्योर आप अपने एनवायरनमेंट को, अपने प्लानट को भी ऐसे ही हेल्दी रखिए। आप यूथ है, सब कुछ चेंज कर सकते हैं। आप बस बोलने की देरी है और आप ये सब कर सकते हैं, एंड आई एम देयर विद यू ऑल। आई विश यू ऑल द वेरी बेस्ट एंड थैंक यू सो मच फॉर हैविंग मी हियर। थैंक्स अ लॉट। थैंक यू।
थैंक यू वेरी मच साइना, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका। आपने आज इस ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन फॉर यूथ सेशन के लिए समय निकाला और अपने संबोधन से हमारे भावी युवाओं को प्रेरित किया। थैंक यू फॉर इंस्पायरिंग द यंग लीडर्स। Thank you. The future leaders, ladies and gentlemen, are listening very keenly, and now is a very interesting session for the benefit of our youth, because I'm going to invite Mr. Nishant Balashanmugam, Director at GH2 India, who's going to simplify green hydrogen for all of us. He's going to explain the what, why, and how of this revolutionary energy source, making it accessible and engaging for our younger audience. Mr. Balashanmugam is a distinguished director at GH2 India, where he spearheads strategic operations and drives the company's growth initiatives, and has a proven track record in leadership and business development, and also known for his innovative approach and ability to navigate complex challenges. Mr. Nishant Balashanmugam, please.
My colleagues, and good afternoon to all the children here of this great nation. It's truly an honor to be speaking to all of y'all. Over the last 2 years, I've only been talking to, older people, and it's more serious discussions. So this is such an honor, and I'm very delighted to be here. It's almost 2 years since I spoke to a bunch of students. I think the last time I spoke was at DPS in Rohini. Are there any students from DPS Rohini here? Okay, I guess not. But I want to ask all of you all in the audience one more question. Who's here to know more about green hydrogen? Okay. Who's here to fight against climate change? Wonderful. So this is exactly why we are talking about green hydrogen, right? I think our previous speakers, they set the context very well. And I really like Saina's message on staying fit. You should continue to stay fit. Personal fitness, physical fitness is important. And we should make equal efforts to keep our environment fit as well. So if you start looking at my slides, green hydrogen, one of the reasons why we are doing green hydrogen in such a scale is because of our efforts for a net zero world, so towards a greener future. So let's start with climate change, right? Everybody's heard this word thrown around, and climate change is mainly changes in weather patterns in the world because of human activity, right? The things that we do, the industrial activity that has been going on for the last 140 years, it's had an impact on the planet, right? And we are realizing this in the last 2 decades. It was only in 2016 that about 190 countries across the world came together and signed the Paris Agreement to ensure that each country on their own sovereign level will take efforts to reduce carbon emissions and tackle pollution. So mainly this climate change is happening because of, these greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide and excess methane that is affecting the atmosphere around the Earth. I don't know how many of you all are science students here, but for those of you all who are not, those are the 3 big reasons why. So now let's look at how we can fight against climate change, right? First thing is more forests, more greenery, and I think all of us are making efforts. Each of you all are doing this on your, in your school level, in your community level, your housing colony, etc. So we got to continue to do that. The next way is to adopt sustainable agriculture and farming practices, right? Believe it or not, agriculture is also a big source of climate change. The fertilizers that we use and the damage we do to the soil, it affects the air we breathe and the temperatures across the world. Next is transportation, right? We're all talking about electric cars. Who here has an electric car, or at least at home? Okay, hopefully that number should increase very soon, right? Because our cars also pollute quite a lot. Finally, it's green hydrogen and clean energy technologies. But you can ask me, amongst all of these lists, why are we focused on green hydrogen here? Because green hydrogen is the only solution to almost 18 to 20% of the world's carbon emissions. You can replace your oil and diesel with electric cars, but you can't refine crude oil with electricity. You need hydrogen, right? You cannot, change all the fertilizers that we're using without green hydrogen. So this is why green hydrogen becomes important. Well, my Mr. Ajay Yadav already explained what hydrogen was. Professor Sood also touched upon it. So I'm going to skip through this. But one of the key takeaways from this is that it rarely exists in a pure form. Hydrogen is the most abundant element and element across the world. It is also present in 75% of all matter, but it's very rarely available in a pure form, and that's why we need technologies to accelerate it. But everyone's wondering, where am I using hydrogen in my day-to-day life, right? Nobody really is. But we are using so many products every day where hydrogen was involved, including the food that we use. In the industry side, crude oil is refined with hydrogen. Chemical production, your pharmaceuticals, a lot of food processing is done through hydrogen. Energy storage, it can be adopted. Power generation, aviation, shipping, grid balancing, and backup power. So these are the larger sectors that can adopt hydrogen. It is not necessarily being done, but that is the goal why we are all making this collective effort to adopt green hydrogen. So the Joint Secretary explained to you what green hydrogen is. It is using an electrolyzer, feeding water into it. You get oxygen and hydrogen as outputs. And believe it or not, electrolyzers were around almost 70 years ago. India had almost 100 megawatt electrolyzer installed somewhere in Punjab in the early 1960s and 70s. The only reason we stopped utilizing it is because power from coal became cheaper, right? And we weren't aware of climate change and the effects that were happening. But today it's a serious concern. So therefore, the government has taken all of these initiatives to promote green hydrogen again, and I think we should give a round of applause to Mr. Secretary and the Joint Secretary here. Because why specifically is hydrogen is just less than 1% of industry, right? And today there is a national green hydrogen mission. There's $2 billion, and we're just getting started. And to involve children and the youth for something like this is truly commendable, because the future is green hydrogen. We're going to see several more sectors that adopt it. For each of y'all, you will find work opportunities, you will find business opportunities in this sector. So together, I think we should all work towards a cleaner future, and you can contribute by playing your role in this. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bala Shanmugam, for enlightening us on the promise of green hydrogen in our battle against climate change. Your presentation was very inspiring. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have to now thank Ms. Saina Nehwal for her presence and her address. Thank you very much for taking the time. May I request Professor Ajay K. Sood, Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India, to please do the honors and present her with a small token of her appreciation at this second edition of the International Conference on Green Hydrogen. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it once for Saina Nehwal once again. Saina's participation in this conference truly highlights her commitment and dedication to the transition to renewable energy. Thank you so much, Saina. You're a true champion of both sports and sustainability. Thank you. Thank you very much once again, and thank you, Professor Sood, for doing the honors, and thank you, esteemed dignitaries, thank you, Shri Bhalla, thank you, Shri Yadav, and thank you, Mr. Nishant Bala Shanmugam. May I request you to kindly now take seats amidst the audience members, because we're going to be now starting with a dynamic panel discussion, which is titled Empowering the Next Generation, Exploring Green Hydrogen as a Catalyst for Sustainable Development and Youth Innovation. So I'm going to request you, ladies and gentlemen, now to please look forward to a very, very interesting panel discussion. This is a discussion which is going to feature youth environment champions who are already making many significant strides in the field. So I invite you to please be seated now. And I'm going to invite our panelists one by one to kindly join us. We're starting immediately, so I request you to please take seats. We're going to start immediately with the panel discussion. May I request you, media members, to take that conversation maybe outside of the room. Baljeet, can we have this conversation taken outside? Since we're going to be beginning with the panel discussion, let me now invite our youth environment champions on stage, starting with Shriya Rai, the founder of Sashakt Bharat India, who works towards building early capacities for climate action through education interventions. Let's welcome Shriya Rai. May I now welcome Sailesh Singhal, the accidental activist who founded the nation's largest youth-led platform for impact, the Youth of India Foundation. Sailesh, a very warm welcome to you. May I invite Abir Bhalla, youth environmentalist and sustainability consultant whose work has been recognized by the BBC network. Abir Bhalla. And thank you for the applause, ladies and gentlemen, for our young environment champions. And may I invite Vivek Ajani, program lead at the Climact Initiative and knowledge consultant for climate change. Vivek Ajani. Viveka, there she is. Welcome. Let me now invite Ashley Wilkinson, Senior Program Officer, Youth and Citizen Engagement at WWF India. Ashley, I welcome you. And Sneha Shahi, PhD scholar at ATREE and a UNEP Plastic Tide Turner champion. Let's welcome Sneha Shahi. Welcome. And ladies and gentlemen, I do also have to invite the moderator who's going to be leading this very, very enlightening, dynamic discussion on empowering the next generation, exploring green hydrogen as a catalyst for sustainable development and youth innovation. May I invite Priyanka Sahasrabuddhe, International Business Development Lead at Yonder, H2 by Ador Powertron, and General Secretary of the Women Leaders in Hydrogen India. Warm welcome to you, Priyanka. And since we have only 30 minutes for this discussion, why don't you take it away right now? Thank you.
Thank you, Aishwarya, for the introductions, and let's get right into it. So first of all, a very, very warm welcome to the honorable representatives of Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Government of India, and the organizing committee who's put together this mammoth session of so many youth in one place. And thank you to the youth of today. You started your climate journey, your climate action journey today by being here, being part of this change. And you won't be disappointed because today we have with us 6 remarkable youth. They are our young climate warriors who are at the front line leading the change that they want to see in this world. So, you know, from on-ground environmental cleanup activity to advocacy at some of the most renowned climate panels, and even equipping the youth and equipping the masses for our battle against climate change with the required skills and knowledge. These are our sustainability champions we have here today. And together with them in today's session, we'll explore what is the outlook that they have, having interacted with so many youth on the climate change awareness level of us as a country in general. We'll also understand in very simple terms what exactly is this decarbonization and why is it so important in fighting climate change. And we'll also decipher and demystify this hype around green jobs and green skills. You know, as youth, we've all been in the position of thinking 11th, 12th में कौन सा stream लेना है, college की कौन सी degree करनी है. So this will help us plan and prepare ourselves to equip with those green skills, which are the jobs of tomorrow. And they are going to help you understand this green hydrogen concept, how it fits into all of this climate change. So without further ado, I'll pass the baton on to all of our youth leaders here to talk a little bit about their climate change journey and what motivated and inspired them to be at the front line of this change. So we'll just go onwards from Shreya.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Shreya Rai. First of all, it's such a privilege to be here. I work in the climate advocacy and education space as the founder of the Sashakt Bharat Initiative, as well as the National Geographic Young Explorer. My work and the most defining and exciting part of my work is to really work with young people like yourselves to build leadership and learning spaces. And the work that I want to lead in the future is to integrate more young girls and women within climate advocacy and decision-making spaces. Thank you for being here.
Namaste. I think first of all, congratulations to the Government of India and of course all the dignitaries who were able to bring the first ever session on young people in green hydrogen. So could we have a big round of applause for the government in thinking in that direction? It is commendable that when we started doing something in green hydrogen 2 years back with the Youth for Green Hydrogen, none of us knew what green hydrogen was. And here we are where the government of India is so proactive in taking that message forward. I started my journey with a no as an accidental activist where we took no as a new opportunity. Some of us sitting here would have gone to Connaught Place and drank tea in Kulhad. And I will share this journey of why it inspired me that we have to do something in India with young people of India because world wants to hear the story of young people. And when we met the Secretary General of United Nations in 2019, we were able to give that Kulhad Connaught Place की मट्टी की बर्तन उनको और उनको जब बताया कि ये ग्लास को आप रीयूज़ कर सकते हो, पी सकते हो, जब मन भर जाए तो उसको मट्टी में डाल दो और टूट जाएगा, तो उन्होंने इसको कहा glass of the century. Then I realized it is not the century of the glass, it is the century of the country. And that with that mission idea, we were able to mobilize 78 countries, move ahead as Youth of India in 18 plus states with advocacies in different initiatives like Unplastic India, Youth for Green Hydrogen, and so many more. It is a generation of you and I. It is a generation, it is a decade, it is a century that all of us wants to hear us. We all have to just go and make the mark. Thank you for having me here.
Hi, namaste and good afternoon. My name is Abhir Bhalda. I'm a youth environmentalist and sustainability consultant. I've been working in this field for almost 12 years now. And, I think, Priyanka, you'd asked us to share an interesting anecdote. I do a lot of work on air pollution and waste segregation. And I think for me as a youth environmentalist, a turning point was when I was invited by BBC to actually talk about air pollution in India, which as we know is a big problem, especially in North India, and hopefully green hydrogen helps abate that problem. So I was invited to speak on air pollution, and unhone mujhe bataya nahi who my panelists will be. They just said, come, we're going to have a senior leader, and it's going to be 1 hour interaction live on TV. And I logged in on Zoom, and there were 4 other young people from around the world. I was representing not just India, but Asia as well. And it turns out that the UN Sec Gen was there. And live on TV, we debated with him for 1 hour. It was almost like a chai pe charcha session where we were talking about air pollution, waste segregation, so many issues. And I think, to the point that Sailesh was making, it's very heartening to see that the government and many other institutions nowadays are giving a weight to the voice of the youth when it comes to environmental issues, because 20 years down the line it'll be us who's sitting in parliament rather than the decision makers who are making decisions today. So we need to have not just a seat at the table but a say at the table from now on. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's lovely to be here amongst these lovely panelists. Thank you so much for taking the time and coming here today to listen to us. But I think it also shows that you guys are actually eager, that you guys actually want to make a difference. And that's where I kind of came into this fora as well. When I was doing my undergrad studies, I just happened to visit an organic farm in Dehradun. And they had these young kids from the local village who would come and visit the place. And it was a sustainable organic farm, so you had to do your own thing. And just off the bat, the organizers are like, why don't you, because I was studying environmental sciences, they're like, why don't you talk to and interact with these young kids and tell them what environmental science is, what is conservation, what is global warming. And I did these, little activities with them, some games with them. The enthusiasm and the sparkle in their eyes at the end of every activity, and them coming and asking me questions and, eagerly wanting to know how they can make a difference in their village, that is what drove me to, work with young people. And that was I think it's been 10 years since I've been working in this space now. And I've worked with young people across the world, and with countries like Germany or Tanzania or India. And I think it's just lovely working with young people, because not only are you guys the future, but you guys are also the ones who are going to be the flag bearers for transformative change, not only in the country, but in the world. So I'm really glad to see so many young people in the audience today. And I really hope that this panel discussion helps you, inspires your journey, and hopefully somewhere down the line, a few years, we see some of your faces over here in a panel discussion like this. So thanks.
Hello everyone, my name is Ashley and I'm an environment educator with WWF and UNEP in India. I personally believe in the power of youth, and that's what brings me here. I believe that youth can drive change, and my job is to work with all of you, that is the young people of India. As an environment educator, I come with a lot of tools and materials to teach you guys about environment education, but also as a young person, I learn from all of you. I believe that the young people can drive change, and something that I can vouch on young people is innovation, and that's what is my job, is when young people come up with innovative idea, my job is to leverage their idea and find solutions together. So that is what my job as an environment educator and youth leader, and I personally believe a lot in youth, and especially youth in India who can drive change. So that's all about me, and I'm very excited to be here.
Hi everyone, my name is Neha Shahi. I'm a young scientist. I think that's the easy way to explain what I do, and very well put by my fellow panel members that we are here today to learn along with you what is green hydrogen. The government of India has given us this platform to come and inspire you so that more of you can, show your innovation, your creativity, and bring about that change that we keep talking about. If you are the future, we want to see you lead the change along with us. We all run in very similar circles, so we all know each other, sort of. But we want that circle to grow bigger. Our effects are a ripple effect. It slowly has to grow, it has to come to you, you have to come to us, we have to work together. And I feel that's the best way to do things. I cleaned a small section of a river and I brought back crocodiles. That became my USP, that's what I do. But I'm a jack of all trades. I work with a lot of policy folks. I work with a lot of advisors. I also work as advisors. I work for learning and development of young kids for different organizations. And I'm also almost always in the water, wading through rivers, looking for otters, looking for crocodiles. So it's not just limited that you have to be an engineer or a doctor or a scientist. You can have multiple passions. It's better to be a bad cook while you're also an engineer, other than just being an engineer. Just find that thing that really sparks your curiosity and then stick to it. You have to study, you have to put in that hard work, because I strongly feel that our action today has to be driven by science. Unless we have evidence to see how and where we can go, how would we go there? So we all are here, the young people who are going to create that roadmap together to lead us into the future. So thank you so much for coming here and listening to all of us so patiently and graciously.
So thank you to all the youth panelists for sharing your, unconventional and important journeys for us to know about, so we can all emulate and try to adopt some of that into our own journeys. And, coming to this point of, you all are so concerned about the climate, the environment. And we are, what is known as the Reels generation, the online generation. So we have access to information at a point where it's become almost, depressing to watch news sometimes. It's scary what we see around us. Ek channel pe we see a drought, ek channel pe there's a flood somewhere, there are landslides, cyclones. These are all global events which have really intensified and become much more frequent than they used to be in the time of our parents' generation. And there's a sort of hyper-awareness about climate change. You can't escape this term anymore. It's become a reality we have to reckon with. So, Sneha, Viveka, a lot of the work you do revolves around talking to the youth, being involved with the youth, empowering the youth. So I want to understand from you that what is exactly the awareness level amongst the youth, and is there a kind of climate anxiety? Is there, is being able to care for climate a privilege in itself, or is it a responsibility of every youth that they have to take up and lead the change?
Thanks for that question, Priyanka. I think the level of awareness among young people regarding climate change is definitely increasing. Apart from learning about it in schools, like you very rightly said, we have access to so much information online that I'm sure everybody has heard about the term climate change, or have you heard about the term resilience or adaptation or mitigation or renewable energy. All of these very complicated sounding terms, but you've heard of it. You've come across it somewhere. Some people who are actively engaged in this movement to work, to make a change and to make a difference in climate, against climate action, there are people who do feel that level of stress, that level of anxiety. Maybe I'm speaking for the panel over here, but I'm sure all of us at some point feel this sense of hopelessness as well. And there have been a lot of surveys that also say that, when they've asked people, when they've asked young people especially, they say that they feel this sense of doom and gloom, कि कुछ हो नहीं सकता, दुनिया तो जलने वाली है. But on the counter side, there are also a huge chunk of young people who feel hopeful, who feel like हाँ कुछ कर सकते हैं, difference बन सकता है अभी भी. We are the ones who can take action. We are the ones who can talk to our adults. We are the ones who can approach our government leaders and tell them, please, you're playing with our future, you're playing with our lives, can you make a difference? And we are seeing that difference. We're seeing, difference in policy, we're seeing difference in schools and educational institutions, where young people are the ones who are driving their adults to make a change for their futures, right? So I feel that while there is this sense of anxiety, fearfulness as well regarding climate change, there's also this sense of hope. And I think that's very important to cling on to that hope, because that's what's going to drive you. हम लोग बहुत loosely, there's this हिंदी में phrase, उम्मीद पे दुनिया कायम है. I think इस वक्त वो उम्मीद को पकड़ के ही हम आगे बढ़ सकते हैं to actually make a difference. So that's what I feel.
Yeah, very, very well said, Viveka. So hope is such a big thing. It keeps you alive, right? That's why we all are wanting to do something. There are many days when I'm sure all of us have read about floods, droughts in the same day, like Priyanka mentioned. But we don't know what to do about it. While we do know that our daily actions do contribute to those things. हम रोज़मर्रा के जीवन में भी आजकल जो कर रहे हैं, जैसे साइना जी ने भी कहा, वो इम्पैक्ट करता है। तो क्यों ना हम कुछ पॉजिटिव करने का ट्राई करें। इतना क्लाइमेट एंजाइटी है, पर ऐसे भी लोग हैं जिन्हें पता नहीं है कि क्लाइमेट चेंज क्या है। दे आर फीलिंग इट, दे नो कि टेम्परेचर पहले से अब बहुत बढ़ गया है, सडनली हीट वेव और नेक्स्ट डे बाढ़, ऐसी चीज़ें भी हो रही हैं। हमें पता नहीं है कि मे बी उसका टर्म क्या है, उसका साइंटिफिक टर्म क्या है, हम उसे कैसे समझाएं किसी को, बट फील हम सब कर रहे हैं। कोविड, अदर पैंडमिक्स, कौन ऐसा है जिसे उसका इम्पैक्ट नहीं हुआ हो? तो इट इज़ इम्पैक्टिंग अस, चाहे हमें पता हो या ना पता हो वो क्या है। एंड वही है क्लाइमेट एंजाइटी, वही है कि हमें समझ नहीं आ रहा है कि इतना सब हो रहा है, हमारे में इतना एनर्जी है, हम क्या करें इसे ठीक करने के लिए। सो आई फील आपदा में अवसर देखना भी एक एक इंडियन ट्रेट है। वी आर वेरी जुगाड़ू क्रिएटिव पीपल, सो ट्राइंग टू फाइंड आउट हाउ वी कैन टेक दैट फॉरवर्ड to mitigate that climate crisis and work towards action is something that the youth of today need to move towards.
Thanks for that. And I think, kya karna hai is the next point. So let's move into the action zone now. So one important thing for everyone here to know is a term about Paris Agreement of 2016, which basically looks to limit the global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius. जो industrial times पे था, like before industrial revolution happened, whatever the temperature was, only 1.5 degrees Celsius to 2 degrees Celsius should rise from there. So the main emphasis right now is, controlling temperature, controlling global warming. The world should not heat up beyond our control. And the main contributor to this heating actually is greenhouse gas emissions. What we say carbon emissions, hydrocarbon emissions. This is what's heating up our world. So I'd like Abhir and Sailesh to, in very simple words, explain to us what is this effort for decarbonization and how will it help us fight climate change?
Sure, Priyanka. So let's talk about decarbonization, right? Decarbonization is nothing but moving away from carbon-intensive fossil fuel emissions. So think about your जो हमारी डीजल की गाड़ी हैं, बड़ी बड़ी buses हैं, आजकल हम देख रहे हैं electric buses आ रही हैं. All of these, whether it's construction, whether it's the steel sector, जहाँ जहाँ से fossil fuel powered electricity या fossil fuel powered fuel consumption हो रहा है, we need to move away from that towards renewable energy. So that's all the decarbonization is. Of course, there are sectors such as I said, the steel industry, the construction industry, and even the transport sector. Some of these are the largest emitters, so I think that's where there needs to be a larger focus. But renewable energy is also a critical part of green hydrogen, right? Because green hydrogen is produced, जैसा कि हमने पहले भी सुना, green hydrogen is produced with renewable energy. And I think India is doing a good amount of work. We've made a 500 gigawatt commitment by 2030. We're already the third largest producer of renewable energy. The cost of solar power has come down by, I think, 50% since 2017. So we are definitely taking steps in the right direction, right? And now over the last 2 years, we've seen even the public sector and the private sector collaborating on decarbonization, on renewable energy to lay the groundwork for, green hydrogen. Because you look at NTPC, they're looking at how they can blend green hydrogen with natural gas, right? Look at Indian Oil, they've started the first green hydrogen plant in Mathura. Look at Renew is starting a 400 megawatt project in Rajasthan. And there's of course also the Gujarat Hydrogen Valley. All of these initiatives and so many more are probably going to lead up to, I think as someone earlier said, easily about $20-25 billion worth of investment. But also importantly for all of us here, from a youth perspective, it's going to lead to 600,000 jobs. And that's a very important part, especially when it comes to youth, green skills, and all of that.
Abhi, thank you so much for that. I think decarbonization को अभीर ने बहुत अच्छे से समझा दिया है. खाली इसका अगर एक मुद्दे को हम देखें, आप दिल्ली में रहते हो और हम सबको मालूम है दीपावली के समय पटाखे फोड़ने में बड़ा मज़ा आता है. तो वो जो एफर्ट है पटाखे को नहीं फोड़ने के लिए, वो भी डीकार्बनाइजेशन का एक पार्ट एंड पार्सल है कि हम कार्बन को कम एमिट करें और उसमें कारपूल का एक सोल्यूशन है, प्लांटेशन का है, रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी का है, बस यही मुद्दा है, कार्बन को बाहर निकलने से एमिट करना, उसको बचाना। और मुझे लगता है प्रियंका, when you wanted to ask about the governmental ideas on decarbonization, I will tell you, India and the government of India is bullish of decarbonization. And the government of India is absolutely certain that we are driving leaders in this space. Tomorrow, the diplomacy is not about oil. It is going to be the green diplomacy. And that is the India way. When you look at the non-fossil fuel electricity generation in India is about 25%. India is the third largest producer of renewable energy. You heard about Indore, the cleanest city in India. You hear about Nagpur, one of the carbon neutral region in the country that is going to be. And so many more examples that are going to come. This country is directly moving ahead in the sectors of providing solar, in the Har Ghar Solar, into so many more that is happening. And that can only happen when it is centric to the idea that which our cultures take from, which is Mata Bhumi Putroham Prithviha. While that core idea becomes a central theme, government has been bullish of its efforts. I think this is what, Priyanka, really drives us into decarbonization. And as young people, of course, it is very simple to take some actions, but we'll discuss that more into the other sector.
Great answers, guys. And thanks so much for really demystifying decarbonization. And like you rightly said, the government is taking the lead and charge in this effort. But we all want to be part of this movement. We all want to be in this sector making the change. So quickly to Shreya and Ashley, I'd just like your views on what is this green jobs, green skills, and how can we all skill up to be part of the change?
Thanks, Priyanka. I think there are three things when we speak of green jobs. One is jobs that will conserve the environment. You're looking at jobs that will prepare us for climate emergencies, and you're also looking at jobs that will promote sustainability. So climate change, I think you've heard this enough today, it's impacting us across individuals, across industries, and therefore there is a skill set that is needed to respond to climate change as we are facing it today. So I think the question to ask is, will green jobs appear? Absolutely not. These jobs exist around us. And sustainability in today's day and age must be built across job descriptions. So my submission really is that all jobs can and must be green jobs. So there is no need for a technical specialization. Beyond technical specialization, there's a need for people in communications, policy, advocacy, management, data specialists. These are some jobs through which you can contribute to a green and sustainable future. And also for the young audience sitting here today, there's a need for change makers, there's a need for solution seekers, and my submission really would be, if you have a skill set, if you have a solution for yourself and your community, you don't see a job that fits, your requirements, create that job.
I think just to add to what Shreya said, talking about green jobs and skills required, we often think that you need to study science to procure a green job. Whereas I feel that science is very critical because we are able to produce science-based solutions. But I also feel that if someone who is creative and still wants to contribute to green jobs can do that. You can be a creative person and produce content. Today we have the resource of internet and social media. That is also for me a green job. Someone like Saina Nehwal, who's an Olympian and a sports person, is joining for a cause like green hydrogen. That is also a green job. So I feel that the canvas is up to us, and what we want to make out of it is in our hands. So green jobs is not limited to what you study. It's how you perceive it and how you want to contribute for a common cause.
Yes, thank you so much for your views and sharing, how we can all become part of this fight against climate change, how we can equip ourselves with the right skills, and of course, motivating us with your journeys, your success, and your accomplishments, and of course, your call to action. Our call to action for all of us, to engage in climate change, to be curious about how we can make a change. And we are, of course, supported and have the resources and support of our young climate leaders. And we implore you to approach them on social media, on their LinkedIn handles, on Instagram, and ask them about their journeys and how you can also join them in being part of this change. And with that, I conclude this session.
Just a last thought. I know this is about all the government leaders here have talked about action. Saina Nehwal came here and talked about action. All of you want to have action. If 3,000 people can pledge to just plant 2 trees, we'll be able to reduce 1,000 tons of carbon annually. Let us take that pledge while we move out and bring that as a success story to the government's initiative on youth leadership in green hydrogen. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much to our bright, young environmental leaders. Thank you for your inspiring contributions today at this panel. This was truly a tremendously energetic session. I'd say by the youth, from the youth, and for the youth. Thank you very much once again. Please take your seats. A round of applause for Priyanka, Shreya, Sailesh, Abir, Viveka, Ashley, and Sneha. Thank you. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I now have the privilege. Okay, there's a photo opportunity. Very quickly, let's take that picture. And let's extend a round of applause once again for them. Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, gracing this session, we know that we have with us Shri Bhupinder Bhalla, Secretary, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, whose commitment to strict timelines and the acceleration of renewable energy projects has ensured that India consistently exceed its yearly targets, contributing to the nation's sustainability goals. And Shri Bhalla has been a visionary leader at the forefront of spearheading initiatives that aim to establish India as a global leader in the renewable energy space. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Shri Bhupinder Singh Bhalla, Secretary of the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Government of India. And may I apprise our students that with a stellar academic background, including degrees from Shri Ram College of Commerce and the Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore, Shri Bhalla transitioned from a successful corporate finance career to join the Indian Administrative Service in 1990. Thank you very much, sir, for your presence, and we request you for your address now.
Thank you, Aishwarya. Good afternoon, everyone. I will not take too much time for you. Actually, first of all, let me apologize for the change in the timing of the program. We didn't mention, but just to explain that there's another event in this venue. You know, Bharat Mandapam is a new venue of Government of India, and you know, it's a very popular venue for events. And there's another event which is going to start shortly where the Honorable Prime Minister is coming. And therefore, from the security point of view, we were asked to prepone this, bring it forward, and complete it before his arrival. And that's to make it easy for you to come in and easy for you to go out. I would first like to, secondly, I must say that I thank all of course, our Joint Secretary, Mr. Ajay Yadav, Mission Director, Shri Abhay Bakre, Shri Nishant Bala Shanmugam, Director, GS2 India, all our youth environment champions that you just met, who are on the stage, distinguished guests, young ladies and gentlemen, and of course, ladies and gentlemen. I think I thank you, first of all, for taking the time out. I know that it must have been onerous coming somewhere, coming from your homes, coming to a common place, maybe a school, college, IIT, or wherever you are coming from, and then coming in buses to this place. Thank you for the trouble that you have taken. I'm quite overwhelmed to see the participation. It doesn't appear to be a very large hall, and actually when I stand here and look around, it doesn't appear that there are 3,000 young ladies and gentlemen here, but they are. And that's the beauty of this particular session. This is the largest session that we've had in this International Conference on Green Hydrogen. And the purpose was very simple, just to make you aware. That was the simple purpose, that make you aware of what green hydrogen is, making you aware of what sustainability is, and that's what we wanted to do. I'm sorry that initially, of course, some remarks and of course in the presentation, we did sound very academic, but there was no other option but to do it. But we hope that the address by, remarks by Ms. Saina Nehwal, of course, and also the youth environment champions have, livened up the stage for you all. I'm just going to talk about a couple of things more. The National Green Hydrogen Mission was mentioned, is what is driving the green hydrogen ecosystem in the country. So we launched it last year. We've traveled quite a bit on that path, and I can assure you, on behalf of the government, but on behalf of India, I can assure you that this country is at par with other nations in the development of green hydrogen ecosystem, and that's something that I wanted you to know. We are not behind others, we are running along with everybody else in this development of this ecosystem. So as you travel back, I hope you carry back the points to reflect particularly the ideas and learnings and the thoughts which were shared by our Ms. Saina Nehwal on the role of the youth, community and sports in paving path to sustainability. Mr. Nishant on the what, why and how of green hydrogen. And last but not the least, the journey of our 6 environmental champions. I sincerely hope you are all inspired from them. And personally I am. I of course now on the other side of the wrong side of the age as far as where you sit, but I am quite inspired by them, and I feel that we should be doing more, not only for the nation but also for this globe. As we move on here, this is the second edition of the the International Conference on Green Hydrogen. As we move on from this edition, I'm sure that you all benefited from today's interaction, and we look forward to your suggestions on how we take it to the next level in the ensuing editions of this conference. I wish you all the best, and thank you again for joining us today.
Thank you very much, sir, for that very significant and very impactful address on the way forward and the inspiring insights that our young ladies and gentlemen will take back with them. Thank you very much once again, sir. With that, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Mr. Abhay Bakre, the Mission Director of the National Green Hydrogen Mission at the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. He's going to render the word of thanks. Previously, he was the Director General of Bureau of Energy Efficiency, where he significantly contributed to India's energy transition roadmap and represented the country in G20 Energy Transition Working Group and ministerial meetings. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Abhay Bakre, welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, senior officials, experts, delegates, and young dear friends. It was inspiring for all of you to come here, although it's a time, but perhaps you will feel that this was one of the day when you realized how close you are to the Mother Earth. As we say, the linkage between the Mother Earth and the human being is Shashwat. It is intrinsic. But I hope you enjoyed today's session. So let me thank the organizers here, the UNEP, who was the partner on getting here, all the other partners and delegates and officials who really worked hard, all the schools, their teachers who made this possible. So thank you so much from bottom of my heart, and of course on behalf of the ministry, that all of you could come here and enjoy this today's session. May I also thank the organizers and the logistic here who could arrange all the buses and your sitting arrangements, etc., and of course all the setup in this venue. My sincere thanks to all the ministry officials and the team MNRE and the sponsors here who could make this international conference. Today the dignitaries, Professor Sood, Sri Bhalla sir, Secretary MNRE, Saina Nehwal, and all other participants here, young champions, were able to showcase you what are the benefits and what are the psychology or the science behind if we are going to save our planet, the science behind the climate change adversity, and how are we actually going to shape up the entire future. Thank you once again. Thank you all. Have a nice day. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir, for rendering that word of thanks. And now I'm going to request our students to please remain seated, because we'll all now follow an order to exit. I'm going to request the faculty of Terry and Jamia to please guide the students. Only Terry and Jamia students will leave right now. We have Terry School of Advanced Sciences. Terry School of Advanced Sciences, I'd request you, the faculty may invite you to please ensure that only the students of Terry School of Advanced Sciences leave now from those exit gates behind. The faculty, please take charge. And I also request the Jamia Millia Islamia students to please exit from those gates behind you. But the faculty, please take charge. We have only 1 hour for all the buses to be filled with the students and leave in time. So I'm going to request you, because then we have a Prime Minister's program in the adjacent room, ladies and gentlemen. So I invite all the young ladies and gentlemen to listen to me very carefully. All other students have to remain seated. Only the Terry School of Advanced Sciences and Jamia Millia Islamia will leave first, and the faculty has to take charge. We're just waiting for a minute for Jamia Millia and Terry School of Advanced Sciences. Thank you very much. The buses are going to line up as per my announcements, our young students, ladies and gentlemen. So do not go away before I announce your school's name. Please only exit the venue once your school's name is announced. I'd like to request once again Jamia and Terry School of Advanced Studies to please exit the venue with their faculties taking charge.
2022,
Thank you very much.
New and Renewable Energy introduced the awe-inspiring National Green Hydrogen Mission with a bold target producing an astounding 5 million tons per annum of green hydrogen.
And now that I can see Jamia and Terry Advanced School of Studies, the students have left. I'm going to invite the students of Delhi Technological University to please exit. May I request the faculty, thank you so much, to please take charge. Delhi Technological University, your buses will be aligned now after Terry and Jamia, Terry School of Advanced Studies.
Economically robust future with potential
Delhi Technological
CO2
University
of 8
will
to
exit
9
now.
million tons.
Thank you very
Sectors like
much.
refineries,
The rest of you please remain seated.
Steel and transport are poised for substantial green hydrogen.
I request the rest of you to please remain seated.
India is progressively
We have
innovative
seen the exit of Jamia Millia Islamia students, Terry School of Advanced Studies and Delhi Technological University students are leaving now. They are exiting now.
There are huge renewable energy deployment plans for the next decade. These are likely to generate business prospects of the order of around 1.5 lakh crore rupees or $20 billion per year. This is a big opportunity.
And now I'm going to request the faculty of Delhi Skill and Entrepreneurship University, Pusa campus, to please now exit.
And a symbol of audacious
Delhi Skill and Entrepreneurship University, Pusa campus
shaping
must
the
exit
future of
now.
energy in India. Embracing the dawn of a sustainable era, green hydrogen takes center stage as the new paradigm, echoed by the visionary words of our Prime Minister. Gujarat, a natural powerhouse.
Just give us a minute and then I will announce the next school.
Emerges as the production
For now,
and export
it
hub
is,
of hydrogen.
I hope that the students of Jamia Millia Islamia have left. I hope that the students of Terry School of Advanced Studies have also left. Their buses are lined outside. And the Delhi Technological University students have also left. And Delhi Skill and Entrepreneurship University, Pusa campus, I also see are leaving now.
Of cutting-edge
The faculty is getting them
port facilities
to line up
designed
and
for
leave.
hydrogen handling to the inception of green
The Delhi Skill and
hydrogen
Entrepreneurship
refineries.
University,
The state is
Pusa
set to
campus leaving
pioneer
now.
A transformative journey. Green gas for steel processing, ammonia production, and the ignition of hydrogen-fueled vehicles all intertwine in Gujarat's vision for a sustainable tomorrow. This ambitious mission, aptly named Mission Green Hydrogen, heralds a future where Gujarat stands as the gateway to a vibrant, sustainable and hydrogen-powered India.
And now
As
may I
the
invite
global
Shanti
community
Niketan
witnesses
Inter
this
College. Shanti Niketan Inter College, the faculty, please lead them to their buses. Shanti Niketan Inter College may please lead their students to the buses. The names of the schools and the institutions that have not been announced, I will announce. So please remain seated until I announce the names, because the buses are being aligned according to your schools and colleges. So please remain seated, students. I request you to please remain seated. All the schools, colleges' names will be announced. Thank you. And Shanti Niketan Inter College students have almost left. If there's anybody else from Shanti Niketan Inter College, you may please proceed to the exit now.
With an array of green products, from hydrogen fuels to ammonia and cutting-edge technology like hydrogen vehicles, the state
Next,
is
I'd like to
scripting a
announce
story
Delhi Skill
of
and
economic
Entrepreneurship University.
self-sufficiency.
Pusa campus again.
Space of India,
ठीक है.
a mission that transcends boundaries, a vision that
I'd now like to request the students from Indraprasth College for Women.
innovation.
Indraprasth College for Women, you may please exit
This is Mission Green
for your buses. I request the faculty of Indraprasth College for Women to now proceed to the exit.
leads the way.
Indraprasth College for Women, and then Vivekanand College, Delhi. Students of Vivekanand College, Delhi. Vivekanand College, Delhi. I request the academic faculty to please take charge. Vivekanand College of Delhi. You may please proceed to the exit gates.
where there is so much to explore and discover. We have inherited this world to nurture, cherish, and care for life, its myriad manifestations, and everything that comes along. In our journey towards exploring